and welcome to our weekend release. This is the bonus podcast episode where we can see how much extra content we can squeeze into.
Do you want to do that again?
Lost my breath. No, it'll be fine. Random things that have been sent in and extra bits from our week and how our advice went down with you, our wonderful G&D Divas.
It's a very nice shirt on you.
Oh, thank you.
It's like a sort of... Well, it's not pink, but it's sort of...
Salmon.
Well, it's salmon that's gone off. I wouldn't call it salmon. It's salmon that you shouldn't eat unless you...
Is it linen?
I don't know. Can I feel it? You're so far away from me now. Come closer to me. No, it's cotton.
What is it?
But it's nice.
Nice summer shirt. I don't know whose it is.
What?
I found this shirt ages ago. I've worn it for years.
That's stealing.
2-3 years. And it just turned up one day. I think it's my brother's mate's.
Well,
I can't remember. I borrowed it off my brother, or he don't know whose it is, or... anyway.
It's very nice. Where's it from?
I don't know. Where's it from?
Libertine? Yeah, Libertine.
Libertine.
Is that like a knockoff Liberty?
What's Libertine? Oh,
I don't know. Well, it looks very nice on
Thank you.
I struggle to dress in this weather.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Oh, fuck off. Sorry.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. No, you dress better in the winter for sure.
Yes, I think we all do with
Yeah,
Brits.
we do. I agree.
That's the way that we're used to. All I'm doing at the moment is polo tops and sort of jeans or chinos. Although apparently, according to my friend who is a tailor and does fashion stuff, chinos are over.
Really?
That's all I bloody wear.
I know. All I wear now is chinos.
No, he went, no, he's Italian, chinos are over. So, I'm distraught.
Do you know a tailor?
Yeah.
Oh,
do you need one?
Yeah, I do actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll hook you up.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Shall we go to... Well, we're going to do something a bit different today. We've got some new listeners that have come to us from BBC Sounds and This Morning and other platforms.
Oh, yeah.
So we asked on Instagram if you had any questions about the podcast, and actually quite a few. So this is going to be like a special Q&A style episode.
Oh, great.
A little behind-the-scenes peek, as you call it, a peek behind the curtain.
Yep.
So the first question that a lot of people asked was, how long does it take to record an episode?
It used to take us ages, and a lot used to get cut out, but now we're better. I'd say pretty much.
A Tuesday episode?
Yeah, Tuesday episodes. They're usually about 40, 45 minutes long. It probably takes about 50 minutes to record it.
Yeah,
An hour max.
I don't think there's anything massively that gets cut, other than the long gap between when we do Jordan's Joke of the Week and Jordan finding a joke.
Yeah.
That's probably the only bit that gets cut.
Yes, and we self-edit now, so we'll say...
Oh, do we?
We'll say off mic, actually cut that, we'll do it again.
I don't think I don't say that. That's more you, isn't it?
Yeah, but yeah, probably usually about 5, maybe 10 minutes more than the actual recording, if that.
Yeah. Rachel was also keen to know how much extra time it takes with William correcting Jordan and Jordan fluffing his lines.
It depends. If I'm hungover, just got back from Glastonbury, or we're recording at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, then there's a lot of fluffing and me rereading. I'll tell you this, the ad reads that we do, they take ages, and this is a good opportunity for me to post the bloopers reel that we've got.
Yes.
Yeah. So can we get the one from the therapy one we did last week?
Pet fleas.
But yeah, the ads take ages because we always end up making each other laugh.
Yes.
So they take a lot longer.
Again, quite a few people ask how much...
Because sometimes Ben writes them, sorry to interrupt there, Ben writes them like, gee, William, have you heard about the new latest pet food? And they're like, we'll put it into our own words.
Ben's mouth is as wide as the Eurotunnel at the moment.
Wow. A bit like your ass. That was too far.
And now we're both on the floor.
Sorry.
A few people asked how much gets cut out from each episode, and please can we have an outtakes reel?
Oh.
We don't really... Well, there we go. We don't really cut much out. I don't think in the grand scheme of things...
At least 2 or 3 times an episode, we'll say, cut that, or we can't do that.
Which is why you should come to... Whenever we do a live show again...
Yeah.
That's why you should come to that, because we're unfiltered.
And it's usually just like people's names and stuff that you think, oh, actually, I've just named someone there. They probably wouldn't want to be named.
How did the podcast start? Where did the idea come from? Whose idea was it? Question 4. How did William and Jordan meet?
We get what? We're always going to be asked this. Are you fed up with getting asked that?
Not at all.
Okay, so so the idea for the podcast was from our friend Stuart, who's the exec producer on it. He owns Audio Always that produce this podcast. They're a very good production company.
Yes.
He's also a friend of ours. William...
And was a friend before.
Yeah. The title and the name, which I only found out recently, was from William. He was thinking of writing a book called Help, I Sexted My Boss. Him and Stuart went for like a coffee one day. I'm shortening this down. Stuart said, I think you should do a podcast. William said, I've been thinking about writing a book called Help, I Sexted My Boss. Then they thought that we'd be good at it together because we are friends. We have been friends for a very long time. We actually pitched the podcast to the BBC. What?
Well, it's in the public domain now.
Yeah,
you announced it on this morning.
We pitched the podcast to the BBC about 5 years ago. We did a pilot for the podcast, but it never quite got commissioned for the Beeb. So Stuart, who makes it, was like, well, let's just do a few episodes anyway and see how it goes.
And we agreed to 10.
We agreed to 10.
And almost 400 episodes later.
5 years later, we're still doing it.
So that was that. I remember going back to my book that was called Help, I Sexted My Boss. Ironically, of course, we have a book called Help, I Sexted My Boss coming out later this year. But the book in its original form, before this podcast existed, I can remember sitting in Boston Harbour with my parents. I had just bought a book that was called Good Manners for Nice People Who Occasionally Say Fuck, which was a great title for a book. Actually, a slightly disappointing book, but it was a great title. And I remember sitting there saying, I'm going to pitch a modern manners book with some sort of provocative title that will, like Good Manners for Nice People Who Occasionally Say the F word, that will do well. Can you think of a title? And my mother thought about it for about 10 seconds and then went, yes. Manners maketh man. I said, that's the worst. That will sell 0 copies. It is not provocative in any way, but we have this in-joke now that my mother can't think of, is not the person to go to for ideas, and I just will go, manners maketh man. Anyway, then I came up with the title Help, I Sexted My Boss and lent it to this podcast.
There you go. Do you want to answer question 4? How did William and Jordan meet?
5 Live. You were the runner.
I was on work experience. I was in my last year at university. I was 21 years old.
Oh, that's the end of me answering it then.
William was a guest on one of the shows that I was working on, and we met there, and then never thought that we'd meet again. And then
we did.
A few weeks later, it was actually probably a few months later, in 2012, my housemates had an Olympic 2012 flat party. William, small world. William went to uni in Manchester with my housemates, and we just hit it off from there.
Indeed.
God, you can tell we're sick of answering those.
I have a feeling when we go to promote the book later on this year, you and I are going to act. Yeah. You're going to have to channel your Oklahoma school performance.
Yeah.
I'm going to channel being third pig in Animal Farm and Oberon, king of the fairs, in Midsummer Night's Dream, and we're going to have to act. Okay. Some of you newer G&Divas had a few questions about the abbreviations we used. Who are EPB and Diego?
So EPB
I wish we knew.
Executive Producer Ben, because he one day just started signing off his emails as Executive Producer Ben, and we're like, oh, are you an exec now?
Yeah.
So he started off as Producer Ben.
Sometimes we call him just PB.
Yeah.
Which is Producer Ben.
He started off as PB, Producer Ben, and then he was, due to the success of the podcast...
and he's the success of his ego.
Ben was promoted to Executive Producer Ben.
Sometimes you call me other things.
Yes.
Diego is Ben's dog.
Yes.
Who we do an impression of.
He's a whippet.
He's a whippet. He's not here today. But I'm here with spirit, guys. I'm always here. I'm always listening. I'm always ready. Padam, padam. He's at home listening to Padam on repeat. I feel it in my heart. Padam, padam. Oh, I love it, Jodie. Song of the Summer, babe. It's brilliant. Should have seen me at Pride. I was singing along to that. I'm a little bandana on, neckerchief. Padam. So that's Diego. Did you take him to Pride? No, they didn't go. I went on my own, babes. Went on my own. Should have seen what time I left that club. Bloody hell.
And this is from Shelley. What does G&Diva stand for?
So, you answer that one.
G&Diva stands for Gin and Debonnaire Eva. But basically, a G&D is our gin and Debonnaire. It's our drink. 1 part Debonnaire. No, 1 part gin, 2 parts Debonnaire.
So
and
Yeah.
Core listeners to this podcast are referred to as G and Divas.
Anyone that listens is Gene Divas. But yeah, we drink gin and debonnaire at the start of every episode.
Yeah, and our newsletter, if you sign up to the newsletter at sextedbyboss.com, it comes with a beginner's guide for explaining all of these and other sexted references. So if you need more clarification, go to that.
Do they want to be any bloody louder out there? Honestly. Honest to God.
We record this podcast at Piccadilly Circus.
Yes. Number 6. Will you have a tour or do live shows again? Watch this space.
Oh.
Number
okay.
7. Will the podcast go on forever and ever? As I hope it will, from Yvonne.
Well, I don't think it'll go on for... Literally, genuinely, it won't go on forever and ever because at some point we will die. So, Yvonne, I'm not sure if you are familiar with how life works, but at some point it will stop unless we get replaced. It could be like Top Gear. Well, actually, that's the wrong analogy. We could be like Doctor Who. We could regenerate.
Yes.
Yes. I could regenerate into Shawn Mendes.
How long do you think it'll go on?
I mean, we'd be lucky if we get to Tuesday at this rate. What's your favourite thing about doing the podcast? And that's from Maisie.
Mine's seeing William and Ben and Adam and everybody every week.
It is nice coming in.
It is nice coming in.
In my job, I have never had routine because I am freelance. And so I'm always doing different things and each week is different. It's one of the things I love. But this podcast generally, although we slightly record on different days, is a routine. There's a pattern. I have a commute. I have my little go and get the coffee. I come in and I love that, as well as doing the podcast and seeing my friends.
For me, I know a lot of people think I'm only on the radio for a few hours a day. I have other bits going on. And out of everything I do, radio, I've always said will be my number one. I absolutely love being on Radio 1. On radio and on Radio 1, but being on Radio 1 comes a lot of responsibility and a bit of pressure at times because you've got to constantly be on it and be thinking of new ideas and features. You've got to be on good form.
Excuse me, you've got to think of new ideas.
I'm trying to get there. You're live, you're millions of people, and I buzz and feed off that. And when I'm having good shows on Radio 1, I'm at the best. But this, out of everything I do, out of all the other bits I do, is the least stressful that I do. Not that Radio 1's stressful, but it's the one where I think I'm just coming in and having a laugh with my mate. But it's like that. It's very similar to Radio 1, but there's a bit more pressure. Do you get what I mean? Because it's live.
Yeah.
Do you get? But this is
it's a different discipline.
It's completely different. So yeah.
That's very nice.
Thank you.
Now, this question isn't about the creation of the podcast, but it does highlight that we don't just share extremely graphic and sexual stories. We also share etiquette tips and etiquettemology and knowledge.
Yeah.
Julie wanted to know why Camilla is queen, but Philip was never king. Do you want to take a shot at that?
You explain. You can, because king comes higher than queen, doesn't it?
Yes. So a king outranks a queen. Camilla is a different type of queen to the queen that died in 2022. Camilla is a queen consort, and a consort shares the status of their husband but doesn't share the political in inverted commas, power or the authority. It is sort of like an honorary. It's a bit like Jordan's Fellowship. It's like an honor. It's not actually, but it's an honorary thing. Queen Elizabeth was a queen regnant, and a queen regnant cannot be married to a king because the king would then outrank the queen regnant. So Philip was known as Prince Philip and then the Duke of Edinburgh. And Camilla is Queen Camilla. But if you are known as Queen first name, you're either a dead queen regnant or you are a queen consort. And so she is a queen consort.
So would Charles refer to her as the queen?
Yes, in speech you go, the queen did this, the queen did that.
Queen and I.
Yes. So the queen that is dead, Queen Elizabeth, is now referred to just so, Queen Elizabeth, not the queen. But during her reign, she was the queen.
There we go.
And finally, why has there been a lack of Jordan's impressions lately? Eleanor.
Has there?
You've done a Diego.
The Diego one. It's one of those, Eleanor. I let the art take over. I let, if I'm feeling creative and artistic, the impressions just pour out of me. Some days I don't feel like doing impressions. I don't write them before.
Funny that.
They just come to me. They
Right.
do. We haven't done Mikey in ages.
No.
We haven't done James. We
No.
haven't done...
You did Sarah on this morning.
I did Sarah on this morning. Well, my best one. We haven't done your dad in a while.
No.
Fucking hell, Sarah. What's this new house? Why are you costing me so much on this bloody door for the new house? We've had 6 bloody doors on it. We just pick a fucking door. We can use it. Christ, woman. And what have you ordered for the bloody bathroom?
You're going Cockney.
Champagne in a bloody bathroom? What's up with you, woman? Christ! Who's that now on the phone? Hello? Oh, William, bagger off! You can't have any more money. You're 33 years old. For God's sakes, man. Everybody wants money off me. There you go.
Right.
It just comes to me naturally.
Yes,
Has she
lovely.
got a door sorted for the house?
Well, I'm going now after this,
Christ.
so we shall find out.
William's had more front doors than I've had up dinners.
No, my parents have had front
Sorry,
doors. Yeah.
William's parents have had more front doors.
They keep deciding that the front door they get
keep-
installed is common.
Yeah.
So it keeps changing for the new house. Anyway, lovely. Thank you for all that, everyone. If you've got a question or a story that isn't a dilemma or problem, then this is the place where we can read it out. You can drop into our direct messages on social media or send us an email to help@sextedmyboss.com with anything you want to share with us.
We also love hearing back from people we offer advice to. So if that's you, get back in touch with Producer Ben. For more sexted news and nonsense, sign up for Producer Ben's newsletter via sextedmyboss.com.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys.